Over time, I've learned that it's never wise to assume investors have finally won back their power over boards and managers, but 2015 definitely tipped the balance in favor of shareholders. After decades of fighting to keep the barbarians out of the boardroom, Bloomberg recently reported, quote, that investors are finding it easier than ever to get board seats. The activist insight firm finds that the average length of time a company takes to settle with an activist has shrunk by almost 20 days since 2013. Recently, Cisco Corp held out for less than a week before agreeing to add directors at the bidding of Nelson Peltz. Part of this has been a new corporate calculation that when it comes to cost, time, effort, and odds of success in a long proxy fight, momentum is shifted to the activists. But there also seems to be growing acceptance that the activists' goals, even if they're unpalatable to management, may have some business logic behind them. This inevitability also shows up in the way activists can now lose battles, but still win wars. Nelson Peltz failed in his 2015 proxy attempt to gain seats on the board of Dow Chemical Company, but a few months later, CEO Ellen Kullman retired under fire. And now Dow has announced a merger with DuPont. The two companies will blend and then redivide into three new companies that better align their business models. These strategies seem far removed from the old concerns that raiders would sweep in, dismember targets, and then run away from the crippled firm with their short-term gains. Now finally, 2015 set a new record for the number and size of corporate mergers, over $5 trillion worldwide. Could the activists be a factor? A little discussed aspect of their efforts is that they're bringing renewed frangibility back to the corporate world. 200 years ago, the idea of a corporation staying intact for generation after generation would seem bizarre. Joint stock companies were formed to build a bridge or a factory or a ship, and then the investors would wind up the firm, cash out, and take their profits to launch a new venture. Maybe the new activists are sending corporate directors a message that their real fiduciary duty is not to some eternal corporation, but to all those investors who actually own a piece of it. I'm Ralph Ward from the Boardroom for January.